Good afternoon. We are about to start our meeting today with a message, Useful Reminders, from the book Christian Agenda by the Spirit André Luiz through Francisco Cândido Xavier. Do not continually ask for spiritual guidance. If you already have tuppence worth of Christian concepts, then you understand enough to know what to do. Do not waste your energy trying to straighten out others by imposition. When we straighten ourselves out, we realize that the world is administered by divine wisdom, and that the obligation to cooperate continuously towards goodness is our fundamental duty. Do not blame the discarnate spirits for our failures in life's struggles. Note the rhythm of our own life. Examine your income and expenditures, your actions and reactions, your manners and attitudes, your obligations and decisions, and you will recognize that you have the situation you sought and that you reap exactly what you sow. Do not appeal systematically to your spiritual friends with regard to petty everyday tasks. They are equally busy and confront problems greater than yours, and their responsibilities are more grave and immediate. Within the common struggles on earth, you would not have the courage to ask a generous and kind professor to perform the functions of a babysitter. Do not wait for death to solve the problems of life, nor claim sickness or old age as an excuse to stop learning. Because we are all still very far from heaven, the grave does not bring a miraculous transformation, but opens a wider door to our own conscience.
Dear God, we are very grateful to be here one more time, together with friends, for this study of Spiritism. Please help us to acknowledge our mistakes, to understand and to forgive ourselves and others, and help us as well to use every second and every opportunity we have to do good, to make up for our wrong deeds, and to make our light shine. Please help us also to remember at this time of the year that Jesus is our guide, our model. So be it.
Hello everyone. Here we are carrying on our studies about Spiritism, inspiring lives. And what are we about to study today? Self-knowledge and Christmas. Hello, welcome. Self-knowledge and Christmas. We are in Christmas time on earth, isn't it? Welcome, hello. Please feel free to sit here. And as we are about, why do we present self-knowledge and Christmas? What comes to our minds? We are all immortal beings, all students of Jesus Christ. Blessings, Jesus Christ, good news. So what comes to our minds when we talk self-knowledge and Christmas? An idea? Why didn't we say Christmas and self-knowledge?
I believe we have to be aware of the Christian message, the message of Jesus and what he brings to us.
Correct. So self-knowledge means we are becoming more knowledgeable through Spiritism, who we are, what is our purpose to be on earth, what is Jesus' good news about, what he expected, what did we as immortal beings agreed to do and live specifically in this time of the year here on earth. So our purpose to reflect about self-knowledge and Christmas is for us as immortal beings, as we all are children of God, brothers and sisters in humanity, that we can reflect upon what the higher spirits are telling us that Christmas on earth means. What do we think? We learned most of the time from where we are coming from. Have we been born yesterday in this existence? No, we are beings who are in the journey of evolution for centuries and centuries and centuries. And where did we learn more? From a materialistic pathway or from a spiritual pathway? We don't have any doubt, yes, that we learned already. And from a materialistic viewpoint, what Christmas means. Where is the focus of Christmas?
Shopping.
Shopping. Rushing, crashing, up and down. From a spiritual perspective, what does Christmas mean? Do we have an idea? If we don't, we start to reflect. Let's learn here. Oh, I can see. I didn't put this thing in. It wasn't working. Okay, now we go. Let's start by understanding how Spiritism talks about Christmas. A child has been born on earth. A son is given to us. Authority rests upon him, and his name is Jesus. Did you see the yellow? What is that referring to? So within that, what do we understand about it? Christmas, the major meaning is Jesus. Yeah? And what about Jesus? Because we all are beings in evolution. We are learning. So what comes to our mind if I say the core main point of Christmas on earth is Jesus? But what does it mean? What is that about?
Time of reflection.
Time of reflection. About shopping.
Family, relationships.
About relationships. Because the main message of Jesus is, we never heard.
Wow.
I remind, love one another. We carry on then. In the book Renuncia by the Spirit Emmanuel, at the beginning of the book, the Spirit Alcione refers to and says, Christ's message needs to be known, meditated, felt, and lived. Has that something to do with self-knowledge in Christmas? And if so, what comes up to us? What is the High Spirit telling us when he starts saying Christ's message needs to be known?
We learn that we have all the laws of God within, but we choose not to look at it or we ignore it. So here comes Jesus to remind us what we need to do in interactions with each other. That's why we need to learn, study, meditate, feel, which is very challenging, and then leave it.
Correct. So when we are studying within Spiritism, are we studying? Are we allowing ourselves to get to know to Christ's message? Yes, especially if we from the bottom of our hearts are willing to engage in these studies. And then Christmas time is a time, not only Christmas time, but all the times, but especially also now to meditate instead of spending time shopping, going up and down. It is time for reflections, that we can allow ourselves to meditate more about who we really are, what I'm doing, what is the major focus on my experience on earth in this time of the year. I notice that I'm still pretty much attached to materialistic references, or do I know that I detach myself a bit? I am willing to move even further, to give more importance what is importance, as we will see throughout the studies. So allow myself to feel the message of Christ and to live accordingly in my choices and our choices that we do during our existences.
I really like the path that Alcione invites us to reflect about Christ's message. So she says, first, to be known. So like not allegate ignorance, as you said. So first we know, like self-knowledge, right? Is the first step, let's say. Second, meditate. So it's on the intellectual and perhaps the theory part. And then we feel, so it will start to touch in our feelings, our heart, like two wings that the Spiritism teaches, like the intellectual and the emotional. So she touches on those two things, and at the end, live. So if we live something, we have that in our, we know that, first of all, and then we have that in our minds, in our hearts, we live that.
It becomes part of our integral being. And for me, when she says Christ's message needs to be known, that what is Christ's message about? He talks about the immortality of the soul. We mentioned previously, love one another, but we need to go a bit backwards to understand that we are immortal beings. We are not the body. When we are in the body, we are three-dimensional beings. A spirit, a spiritual body, which we call perispirit, and the physical body. So we need to meditate, where is the focus of mind attention? On the physical body, on the physical level, or on the spiritual body as an immortal being. So once we know that, that helps us through the process of self-knowledge to activate the free will and stimulate it towards making choices based on the core of our existences. Yeah? Then we move on. Then we have the thought by Roy Smith. He who has not Christmas in his heart will never find it under a tree. Has that something to do with self-knowledge and Christmas? What are you laughing, Cynthia? Are a lot of people searching Christ under the tree?
So much distraction.
So much distraction. So much on the materialistic level that we are on the external aspect. And all of us, believe me now, that we are, wasn't always our case. In the past, we also went through these experiences, which are the external references. But Christ is inviting us on the internal references now. So we will never find Christmas in our hearts under a Christmas tree. Never. Because that is external and quite often artificial. I can have all of that and not have Christ in my heart. Is that making sense? Then we can carry on with the thought from Bob Hope. Cynthia, read that for us, please.
My idea of Christmas, whether old-fashioned or modern, is very simple. Loving others. Yes. A little bit more. I couldn't see that sign. If you go back, I didn't read it the last.
Oh, I see.
Come to think of it, why do you have to wait for Christmas to do that?
Okay, so what is that helping us in our self-knowledge development regarding Christmas? Is that a fundamental thought? My idea of Christmas, whether old-fashioned or not, people could be looked after old-fashioned. It's very simple, loving others. So what implies these words? What comes to us with it?
Summarize the teachings, like we said, of Jesus. But like he said in the other sentence, why do we need to wait for Christmas to do that? If we remember to do that at Christmas at all.
Mm-hmm. Would it be right in saying that it's challenging us, our belief systems? Where I am in relation to Christmas as an immortal being? Is it a time that I expect to receive others? That I think that others need to give me something? Because he's saying here, loving others. Me loving others. It's time for giving and not to be in a position of receiving. When we are just expecting to receive, we still are pretty much on the selfish level. Yes, and we are back on earth, this loving school, for us to learn to be givers of life. Correct? And then the last one says, why do we wait for Christmas? If it's about loving others, is there a specific day, specific month? But we can see on earth, although a lot of people become more sensitive, become more charitable, which is already a progress. But for us that reflect within Spiritism, we are learning under God's laws that it's our duty to love each other throughout time, and not a specific day or a specific time.
Now I know we said before Christmas is about relationships and it's about love. And just talking about like Christmas, the day, the 25th. How do we see it in Spiritism? Should we spend it with the family, or if we don't spend it with the family, is it right? Is it wrong?
What is right? What is wrong? Isn't it? Here we are, self-knowledge, yeah? Get to know. I guess we all have different understandings, isn't it? But it is the main point when we say it's about loving each other or loving others, loving one another, we are talking about relationships, isn't it? So when we have our family, it's time also to be with our family. But as more as we, as in we are no longer only attached to our body family, we are already embracing our universal family. And then everyone needs to see where we are, isn't it? When we look at higher spirits, how do they spend the day? So it's up to us. But the main point is taking the opportunity and free ourselves from a more materialistic level and sitting in a position. It's time that the other give me a gift, that the other give me a heart, that the other pay attention, that I get out and learn to love the children of God. That I feel fulfilled in the good that I do and not waiting the others to do good towards me. Isn't that not the lesson of Jesus? Is that making sense? And then moving forward. Chris Grazi, would you like to read that one for us?
Steve Maraboli. Want to keep Christ in Christmas? Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, forgive the guilty, welcome the unwanted, care for the ill, love your enemies, and do unto others as you would have done unto you.
He sounded Spiritist, doesn't he? So what came to us when we read that? The thought by Steve Maraboli.
I think he's drawn our attention towards the charitable meaning of Christmas. Like someone in need, if it's beside me, if I can do something to feed or to clothe, or to even sometimes just spending some time together. Lots of people, they are in the community I live, they are alone already, the family is not around, or they are not in this world anymore. So they feel really alone. And during Christmas, we do like, there are some people who do, like we spend some time together. Mm-hmm. So it's just sometimes having a coffee together or listen to them. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a charitable work.
What else?
The concept of Christmas.
Very different. Again, inviting us, get out and help. Instead of sitting in and expecting people come to me. We are invited to go out and help and not demand that other comes to us. Because when we are really Christians, as we are studying, that is what, through self-knowledge, it stimulates in us. So in that way, we are giving the greatest gift to us. It's no longer, whatever, aspect from the external world. The major gift that we can give is choose to learn to love us. And when we love from Christ's perspective, we cannot any longer to stay so much on the selfish way. We naturally feel the need to go out. Understanding we cannot help everyone. We have limitations. But look around, those who are close, and get out. Yeah? Because it's quite easy for us, and we say that with respect. Oh, it's Christmas today, I will slip up to midday. I just think about my lazy way. No, get out. There are plenty of possibilities that we can engage in the community. Because this time of year, there are a lot of ways that we can help, as long as we want to go beyond the materialistic way. Extending our hearts, our arms, and help the people around us. There are a lot of people who are alone, a lot of people who don't have a home, a lot of people who don't have anything. Those are the priority. Those are the most needed help. And in London, there are plenty of charities. Everywhere we are, as long as we want to do something, that we can engage in the community, that we can reach out and help. Yeah, that is the greatest meaning. Yeah? Then comes the spiritual Angels in the book Spirite Vida, and she says, all this is Christmas without a doubt, as a festive message that pours blessings of comfort and support, spreading on earth the promises of a better world, in the standards set by Jesus through the divine lines of love. What is she now teaching us? Or what do we understand now by what she's saying? So she is agreeing with the thought that we previously read, yeah? That what you said here, what Christmas is about, and all of these, and what else is saying?
I think it's also a hope message, because she's looking into the future, like a better world. And she's reminding us of the standards set by Jesus. So it's quite a hope message, I think, that everybody's learning, everybody's like knowing and meditating and feeling, and then at the end living this message.
Mm-hmm. So if you go out, as you saw previously on the slide here, and go and help and forgive, and so many ways that we can practice Christmas in a more ethical, moral way, and not on things or belongings, then Joanna Genesis agrees with that, and then she says, as a festive message that pours blessings up of comfort and support. Which kind of comfort and support can we bring to the world when we practice it?
Feed the hungry.
But which kind of comfort and support? Can we bring a smile? Can we bring hope for those people? What else? Can we alleviate the shut down hearts which are suppressed? Can we alleviate that a bit, even in a couple of minutes?
Positive words.
Positive words. Having a reference in relation to the message of Christ, although we not use the name of Christ, but our words we refer that. If they start to complain, we have words of hope, words of positivity, words of understanding, well, despite of the cold weather in London, God is love, or the love is around, or whatever we say. We help to bring, promise a better world, a world where we can see and live amongst each other in a more loving, in a more charitable way. Then we move on. Would you like to read that first? No? That still is Joanna de Anjos in the book Espírito e Vida that she carries on. There are, however, many other hearts to which you should celebrate Christmas, establishing new purposes in honor of Jesus. Which are, do we have an idea? The many different ways? What do you think? Because we refer to the needy, we refer to the ones who need to be clothed, the ones who need to be fed, the ones who need to be assisted, the ones who need to be forgiven. What else? Are there other ways that we can exercise and practice Christmas?
Yes, maybe she's exploring more the comfort and support, like spending time together and being more supportive, and not only material, if we can not only material things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we can help with a smile or something simpler.
Mm-hmm. We referred at the beginning that the main message is on relationships, correct? Which relationship we start with? Us. In relation to?
Ourselves.
God, yeah? Us, relating with us under God's laws, which are within us. And then comes Joanna de Anjos, now she carries on saying quite a lot for us to reflect the main point on the moral aspect, although we also are asked to help on a material level those in need. But here, Joanna de Anjos said there is more than that, and she starts by saying, companions who lacerated your honor and turned away, friends who turned against your affection and made themselves adversaries, capricious acquaintances who demanded high tribute of friendship and avenged your joys, brothers in faith who changed the concept about you and cast stones wherever you walk, collaborators of your ideal who for no reason stood up against your devotion, creating dissension and rebellion beside you, yesterday's enemies that still are enemies today, adversaries who have always constituted harsh trials. They are all opportunities for the celebration of Christmas through the Christian and Spiritist feelings. What do we learn now here?
So as you said, not as a material, but morals of the Christian message. And she talks quite a lot on relationships again, and a lot about, like if we have
Resentment,
resentment,
animosity,
animosities, conflicts,
Conflicts.
adversities.
Mhm.
So let's look again into those things inside of us. Perhaps someone that we didn't share the same thoughts as before, and then we feel that resentment inside. Let's try to change that for something more like fraternal. Like she's talking a lot about fraternity, universal fraternity.
What else?
I think
Speak a bit louder, please.
I think it's a lot of work to do because she said in one of the previous slides about setting other purposes. So I think we could start thinking about Christmas in this all new different way.
So which way could we start? Let's say, which goals could we choose for us regarding the message of Joana de Angelis, the spiritual benefactor? What comes to us first when we read this message, this part of it? As we are reflecting on self-knowledge on Christmas, is she helping us to understand that we are immortal beings and we have been much more imperfect than we are now, and now we are granted with the possibility that we can renew ourselves in Christ's message, isn't it? So although what we did in the past, what could we choose to do in the present? In relation to our relationships, what could you choose as a goal for Christmas?
Like this time using our free will in a more assertive way, using our faculty of freedom, not to do what I want, but this time doing what I came here to do, like fulfilling my duties in respect of God's laws. So trying to follow this path. So this time freely choose it. No, I really want now to do something good for me.
Okay. And what would that be? Everything is correct what you said, but it sounds quite global. What could it be specifically that I could put my hands on? What would it be?
If I need to forgive someone, for example.
So if I still, through my self-knowledge, self-reflection, realize, because I'm in the journey of Christ, realize that I bring resentments in my heart, I understand that these are my issues, that in the present, I'm granted with the possibility for me to learn to forgive myself and therefore forgiving others. And that is using the free will, which is the greatest faculty given by God, to use it in a responsible way, freely, spontaneously, knowing what I'm doing. Is that making sense? So forgiving if I have resentments, forgiving those that I consider maybe my enemies, because I understand now the message of Christ is love one another and not hate anymore one another. That is what we did already in the past. We are here now to rewrite our own history and to change our belief systems through the new knowledge about ourselves, about life, about the natural laws in the universe. And we are willing to do things in a different way. So we can do that, learning to forgive ourselves and learn to forgive others, even those that we may not know who they are, but we know already that we hurt a lot of people, and my position is of peace. So I can do that. What else can we do apart from that? We're still within this reference. What else is possible?
If we identify as well, could be at work or any other way, someone that we don't get along well with, we could start making, like you said, offer a smile, or have good thoughts to think about this person, so we'll be more approachable, and we could not carry on with this hate.
Correct. Can we also add on that, learning, choosing freely, spontaneously to have time that I choose to pray for all of those that we harmed in the past? Because we are on a pathway of recovering ourselves. It's no longer demanding that the order comes. I choose to do that. And can we do that in silence? Because remember, Christmas is about giving and not receiving. We need to activate, stimulate ourselves to do the good that we can do already. We can all learn to pray. What is pray? How do I pray? For those who I harmed. Or perhaps those who are coming with their shadows towards me. What is prayer within Spiritism?
Is talking to ourselves in a sincere way, trying to reflect about what we have done, perhaps asking enlightenment to face our challenges.
To be sincere, you rightly said, learn to be honest, because now more and more, through the self-knowledge that the proposal of Spiritism offers to us, we know that only we can promote ourselves in the universe. Therefore, in an honest, sincere way, I learn to stay with myself and then talk from the heart. Sorry for my mistakes, for my limitations, and I really mean it on the bottom of my heart, even if others may not be receiving in this moment. But for us to free ourselves from us, that is available for all of us to do. Corporate prayer on daily basis. We don't need to stop. We can pray when we are walking on the street. We can pray when we are washing the dishes. We can pray when we are cleaning our house. So therefore, prayer becomes a state of mind, isn't it? That we train, educate our minds according to the natural laws of the universe. Our reference today is goodness. Goodness. That is what I'm sending out. We don't need to look back what we did. God is not punishing us. God is love. God wants us, through his son, Jesus, that we also learn to forgive us, to forgive others, and move forward, developing the universal fraternity, developing relationships on that level. That is beautiful, isn't it? Now we carry on. Cynthia, read the next one for us.
Only then will you hear in the core of the soul and understand the unforgettable greetings of angels in the excellent night. Glory to God in heaven, peace on earth, goodwill towards men, living an eternal Christmas of blessings for love to Jesus. Thank you.
So would you like to comment? What is Joanna Genesis telling us here?
I think it's the last stage that Alcione told in the book, in the first slide. Then you feel and then act according to.
So we know now our purpose is to reflect about what Christmas means under, let's say, the understanding or under the light of Spiritism. Then we choose freely and spontaneously to live according to Christ's invitation to us in relation to every human being, and then we can feel internally this excellent light, or say, this inner peace, this inner fulfillment. Are there a lot of people who feel lonely over Christmas? A lot of sufferings on earth. But as more as we put ourselves in a position as givers and not receivers, because Christmas, I repeat again, is about giving, not receiving, then we will never feel empty. Because as more as we give under the natural laws of life, we connect with the greatest love, the greatest giver, which is God. And as more as we give, more we receive. As more as we give, more as we receive. But if I stay in a selfish position, poor me, then I am empty already and I will feel more miserable. Is that making sense? This is quite stimulating, isn't it? For us to really stimulate our superior potentials that we all bring with us, which are the virtues, precisely, the virtues. Then we carry on with the thought by Mary Ellen Chase. And she says in a simple way, Christmas, children, is not a date. It is a state of mind. Then we can question ourselves. I'm learning to get to know myself as a mortal being, that I'm not a physical body. Nothing on earth is temporal, is forever, and I'm just here temporarily. So where is the focus of my mind? Is Christmas for me a reference based on a date? Is that important to me? Or is that already a state of mind which we conquered throughout time? Is that making sense? And then when you say state of mind, what does refer to? What is that meaning? It is a state of mind. Christmas, children, is a state of mind. Do we think that Christ would also think in that way? So what do we understand about is a state of mind? What comes to us?
It's like when the other slide says, when we leave Christmas, when we are leaving Christmas, this is in our thoughts and our feelings.
Can we go back to Alcione, as you referred at the beginning? Remembers what she said?
To know, to meditate, to feel, and to live Christmas.
Correct. So if we embrace that proposal, is that a state of mind? Yes. Because it will embrace, it will affect our psychological, emotional way and our spiritual dimension. It becomes part of us. It's no longer an external reference. It is an internal reference based on the essence of Christmas, which is love for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Is that making sense? What is coming to you, Cindy?
There's so much to do because it's so different from what we know about Christmas on Earth. Like I said, there's so much distraction because we think, okay, there's Father Christmas, there's a Christmas tree, there's the lights, the shopping, and then Jesus. But it's huge.
And Jesus is still, for the majority of us, with all respect, is much more referred on external level than really internal. This is why we are reflecting, because Jesus' proposals is a profound psychological proposal of self-knowledge and renewal based on the real values in life, so that we can dematerialize ourselves in choosing the proposal of spiritualizing ourselves. Is that not the reason that we are on earth? Is that making sense? Then we carry on with the other thought. Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind. To cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. What do we understand about to cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy? How is that related to Christmas? It really requires some time to switch the mind from the shopping center. But what comes to us? To cherish peace and goodwill.
This we can do the whole year. We don't need to do only on Christmas time to cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, to have mercy, to live mercy. Like I said in the previous slides.
How do we develop peace? Is that something that comes from the external level? Can we be at peace within a torment? Teach us. How do we do that?
I don't know, but I read Paul and Stephen that tells us about the life of the Saint Paul, and he very interesting moment for me, and it really drew my attention when he was suffering açoitamentos. He was slashes, and he was in ecstasy, and he was in peace with himself. So this is something achievable, I believe, and that's something we are learning.
Correct.
That's a very good question, because I was thinking we have all discourses about peace, which sometimes end up in war, because with the war we aim to gain peace. But this is not the way. It was, okay, if I bring to a personal level, what does it mean to achieve peace with war? It means we'll have to control everyone will have to do everything we want. If not, we'll be in war with them to achieve our own peace. I think this is like the way we condition our mind to achieve peace. But how do we achieve peace?
Why did we condition our minds in that way? Do we have an idea? When we analyze ourselves, that we come from a long journey from a materialistic viewpoint, which was based, and still is, on the selfish level, and pride predominated, what was the force there and then? The brutal, the control, the submission, the imposition. What is the greatest power in the universe now that Jesus is coming to teach us? Love one another. Therefore, we, through our ignorance, pride and selfishness and brutality and primitivism, we think that wars will bring peace. But we don't much agree on that. Gandhi says that we will never reach peace through wars. Is that making sense?
And it's interesting talking about peace in Christmas, because yesterday a 6-year-old boy just told me, I said to him, do you like Christmas? And he answered, no, I hate Christmas. I said, why do you hate Christmas? It's too stressful.
You see, that is a child. Now imagine on the adult level. In my profession, I start to address Christmas when it's September, and it goes up to March, April. Now, what the child said, that is what goes on a lot of people. Because we are suffocated in a society with materialistic patterns, values, and beliefs. But we are not strong enough on our hearts as spirits to stand up and say, that's not what I want anymore. To free ourselves. That we do things, but we don't like, but because other people. I hate Christmas cards. But they don't have the strength to say, that's my choice, I don't send any. And then people feel obliged to do that. Then it's meeting there and there and there and there. Things doing. This is why people are stressed. Then we have the Christmas dinner. It should be a gathering for brothers and sisters in humanity to relate in God, in love, in charity, in fraternity, but often ends up in fightings. How many resentments and fights and conflicts in relation to the gifts? Why did he give me that? I don't like that, and so on and so forth. There is a lot, and could not be different, because the values on the materialistic level, they are based on selfishness and pride, and all what comes with that. And that is not love. When in reality, it should be very, very simple. Get out, love, help, cooperate, and if you can give, but that is not relevant. Otherwise, those who don't have money would be blessed by that. And God is fair. God is a God with love. He doesn't have a rule for ones and others not. We can be very happy if we don't have any gift, as long as we choose to love ourselves and love others. Yes, I would agree. There's a lot of pressure, because the values that are based, that we are holding, they are not based on reality, what Christmas really means, and creates a lot of sufferings, a lot of distresses.
I think perhaps in the beginning, or maybe when the message of Jesus was too young, let's say, in the world,
in the early days.
The early days, it was a phase to look into something external to remind us of Jesus, so we could feel it inside. But now I think it's another time. Now is the time to reflect inside of us. That's okay if there are lots of things externally, but as well as remembering things that we should feel the message.
Mm-hmm. I think we cannot hold the two in the same time. When we reflect in the gospel according to Spiritism, we cannot serve God or Mammon in the same time, correct? So if we prioritize materialism, we are on the Mammon side, correct? And that brings the conflicts for the soul, for the spirit. Spiritism is not against anything what you want to do. Spiritism, as a proposal of self-knowledge, is coming to awake us. That was the reality and the meaning which is behind. Because Christ has been on earth for how long? More than 2,000 years. And what we still are doing? Shopping. And stress in this young age. It really touches the heart. See these young souls so stressed, which should be the opposite. But hopefully, as we are all learning and re-educate ourselves, not just intellectually, but especially on our own way of being, and we choose to live accordingly, we are impacting other minds and other hearts as well. Is that making sense? Then we carry on. By Norman Wesley Brooks, and he says, Christmas is forever, not for just a day. It is for loving, for sharing, for giving, not to put away like bells and lights. The good you do for others is the good you do for yourself. Would we agree with that? Is that a message that Jesus brings to us? So how do we learn it? Bells and lights we put back after a couple of days, isn't it? Then we take it back after 1 year. Cannot be so peripheral what Jesus is bringing to us. Isn't it? What comes to us? When she said, Christmas is forever, not for just a day. That is quite new for a lot of people, isn't it? Because we have Christmas attached to the 25th of December, and now even if we study history, we find out that Christ wasn't born that day, and we still are there. Are we not blind? Or I'm very strong on my ideas here. What do we think? Where are we? Speechless. Speechless. Really, when we study history, it's clear there when we study Christ wasn't born on 25th, but we keep on in this automatic pilot and we don't make change internally. But are we listening then Christ's message, Christ's invitation? Are we really working on our self-knowledge process? Are we? Or are we talking about it?
We are like 6 of year when he asked her mother to go back and have a cup of coffee.
Oh really? Are you feeling that pain? So it's too much? So much? But we need to think, because otherwise we ourselves who are within, as the students of Spiritism, within the message of Christ, and we are living as we never heard about it. We are one of the materialistics who are carrying on doing that.
I was trying to find the middle way of this, because sometimes I can go to the extremes. For example,
what is the middle way?
I don't know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I could go certainly say, okay, I don't want to do anything else about Christmas, pretend it doesn't exist. But I don't think this is the ideal.
It's the middle term. So what would be the middle term as we are reflecting here? I guess it's difficult for us, isn't it? Because where have we been for most of the time? Materialism. Having, buying, eating, drinking. Wasn't it?
My thought was, that's why I asked you the first question, because if you celebrate with the family, the same thing they will do for Christmas, they will do with any other celebration.
Every single day. Every single day.
So I was thinking, if I get as my purpose for Christmas to learn to love them or maybe treat them in a better way throughout the year, so then when it comes Christmas, even if I'm not there, but I'm cautious, because if I choose to live Christmas in a different way, if I'm cautious that I did my best throughout the year, I don't need to be part of those celebrations, which for me is quite not boring, but I feel very tense because I don't really like to be there and I have to be there. I think it's...
Who told you? Who imposed you to be there? So yes, it is, as more as we cleanse ourselves, let's put it like that, in our old concepts, and we are learning, we are all learners of Christ, we definitely, sooner or later, we choose to pay the price to get independent of these values, which needs to happen. So that means the middle term is, as we learned already previously, Christmas is a state of mind, and it's every time, all day. So we learn to respect, to forgive others, to help others. Wherever we are, we get out of the selfish way. This is the main purpose. Because we are there just, well, he didn't give me a present, or my husband didn't, oh, what a present. I thought he would receive something better. Well, as more as we love, as more as we help throughout the year, we are suiting ourselves, and we don't need to receive anything. I don't have money to buy a new dress for Christmas. Well, that was in my old days. I will not reveal my age, but anyway. We always had Christmas, one dress for a year. That was my past. This kind of things doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. Because the love that comes from God is not attached to external things. So even if I don't have money even to buy a chocolate, never mind, smile to someone. Say hello, the first that comes in front of you. Keep your mind in good thinking. Forgive those that perhaps you have resentments. Do something which is real. But you're dying of laughing here.
We talked about the dress. I remember I got a new dress for Christmas once, I think a few years ago, and I was very excited about it, but then my husband said it looked like a Christmas tree.
I do remember that one. I do remember. This is you see sometimes.
I feel this time of the year is an excuse for me to talk about Jesus, because sometimes I'm so excited about it, and during the year, normally, outside here, we don't talk much about Jesus, and I feel that this time of the year, some people are more sensible to hear the message, and I think it's an excuse, I think, for me to talk about
It's good that the title is Self-Knowledge in Christmas. So you became aware, and now you start to talk more. But yes, we are laughing here, but it's true. This time, although we are studying is real, Christmas, the essence is love, has referred to relationships as children in God, one family, universal family. This is what we are developing. But in this time of the year, because a lot of people still think that this is important 25th, somehow it stimulates the goodness within them. They become more sensitive. They become more charitable. A lot of people this time. And this period, because becoming more charitable, becoming more forgiving, willing to do good, all of that is translated into a field of energy with the superior spirits' help in cure processes from centuries and centuries backward. But we need to awake ourselves that we can help them on that level. When we are just based on the table, what I need to put on the table, we are not getting the message yet. Is that making sense? Because a lot of good work and deep work on a spiritual level is done during this period, because the psychosphere on earth is more loving. And then they help to go deep down and back for centuries to rescue children of God and help. And we are all invited to cooperate in that. Okay. Yes, in the old days we also have, I don't know if it was your case, we also, apart from the Christmas dress, we have the Christmas tablecloth. Just use it that day, then keep it for next year. Yeah? Doesn't make sense for us anymore. Then we reflect now by Daily Evans Rogers, which says, Christmas, my children, is love in action. Every time we love, every time we give. What is love in action? Is that what we learn within Spiritism? What is love in action? Oh my God, I thought love was what the other gives to me. What is love in action? Can we go back again to Alcione? Remember the first slide? Is that connected? Love in action is doing all the good that we can through our natural way, that we understood and are understanding better and better the message of Christ, which is a state of mind. Then comes Emmanuel in the book Fonte de Paz, saying, the same excellent rays of the star of Bethlem are projecting annually on earth, calling our soul in silence to ascend all our resources for the supreme good. The Master's memory awakens new vibrations in the feeling of Christianity. What comes to us when we read that? The thought of the Spirit Emmanuel.
I've never thought about this, about the rays of the Star of Bethlehem. They are projected like every day on earth. We thought about something static, something that happened 2,000 years ago. And we never thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can even expand and say the rays of the sunshine as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It brightens us our days every day, inviting us
just
for that love.
Yes. Yes. Then it still is Emmanuel who says, it's natural the festive tone of our renewed expressions of confidence. However, we cannot afford the renewing work to which Christmas invites us every year, despite the crystallized pessimism of many companions who temporarily give up the fraternal communion. What is he referring here? In our awareness process. Would he be saying, well, it's understandable the festive period on earth, yes, but what else?
He's saying about some people who say they hate Christmas, because sometimes perhaps Emmanuel is saying they cannot look inside and try to work these hates.
The conflicts, yes. Either because I may be feeling miserable, either may be feeling lonely, either I may whatever. Because victim, yes, I may have expectations from the other come to me, and here I am, no one to talk, but I can go out of my house and talk to people. Or my negativity, my pessimism. So as more as we become aware of who we are, immortal beings, children of God, and they all blessed with the love of God, wherever we are, with someone or without, we can choose to think in a healthier way and to overcome our negative, the restraints that we have. That is still showing the work that we need to do, so that we free ourselves from ourselves, and then we are freer, because we are choosing now what is right in our mental and emotional level. Grazie, carry on reading fast. Still Emmanuel.
And the opportunity to heal our own weaknesses by ratifying unhappy attitudes, or forgetting the faults of others towards us, restoring the broken links of harmony between us and others, in obedience to the lessons of spontaneous giveness. How many times is necessary?
What is he teaching us? Through his words. How can we heal our own weaknesses? Do we have weaknesses? I'm sorry if I refer that you have and you haven't. Perhaps it's someone who is perfect here. So do mine apologize.
Oh my.
So, and the opportunity to heal our own weaknesses. How can we heal our own weaknesses? Where do we start?
Self-knowledge.
Self-knowledge, yeah.
It's an invitation.
Self-knowledge meaning is an invitation for us to choose freely, to meditate, to reflect, and to get to know better who we are. And therefore we will become aware of what? Our shadows, our weaknesses. Let's imagine which kind of weaknesses could we be facing, or discovering, or becoming aware. Resentments. Pride. Selfishness. Hate. What else? Anger. What else? Vengeance.
Lack of self-love, low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem, lack of confidence. Yes. And now, what do we need to do to overcome the weaknesses? Through the self-knowledge process. We just mentioned some weaknesses, of course, there are more. But what do we do when we become aware of the weaknesses? We never heard of? What is the first proposal that Jesus offers to us? Self-acceptance. Self-forgiveness, because we are essentially beings, valuable beings, imperfect, perfecting through the law of evolution. So there's no reason for us to blame ourselves, to feel resentful towards us, to hate us. We are loving beings in essence, because all of us has been created by God with love. So we accept ourselves, we embrace us as loving, imperfect, perfecting beings. And it's okay if we become aware of our weakness. That shows that we are more aware of ourselves, that we are more conscious of who we are. And the only thing that we need to do after that is to learn how to enlighten our own shadows. If you don't know what to do, how to do, what are we doing here? Studying. Let's engage in a study process. Let's use books which are available these days, the media, the internet, so much material in helping us to think in a positive way, to help, if we need to seek a therapist, or whatever we need to do to really promote ourselves with more greater love within.
And we also learned that all the good we do nullifies the bad.
Precisely. Precisely.
It doesn't matter how bad that was. There is always something good we could do to make up for it.
That's a very, very good point. Because sometimes we may get hooked in what I did. As immortal being, just remember this existence. Imagine thousands of years ago. We don't know. We don't need to get hooked. The only thing what we need to do through self-knowledge is to learn to love ourselves. And when we learn to love, we learn to forgive, we learn to respect, we learn to dignify ourselves. It is okay as learners to do mistakes. We all did. We all will still do mistakes. So no one is here to judge anyone, neither us to judge ourselves, but embrace us as essentially beings of love as we already are. Not satisfy, not have pleasure in the, let's say, our own shadows, in the victim position, but freeing ourselves from that, allowing ourselves to do, even if it's baby steps to move out, but be willing to do, exercise our willpower, exercise our spiritual intelligence, motivate our emotional intelligence. Okay? Now we have in the book, Renovando Atitudes Renovadas by the Spirit Joana de Angelis. Through education should aim to develop citizens, create dignified conditions for the individual, is strengthening ethical moral values, because external patterns change situations at every moment, while those of an intimate nature remain as guidelines of wisdom generating inner peace. What is she talking about here in relation to self-knowledge and Christmas? What comes to us? Our reflections, which we are here presenting, are they part of our education process? Who wants to develop them?
The moral education, like sometimes we don't give too much attention on earth, which is essential for us to build the wisdom. Because we have seen a lot of examples where we had very high IQ, we were very intelligent, intellectually, but didn't have these ethical moral values.
Correct.
And we end up in wars to achieve peace. This is not the way.
That's correct. So we developed quite a lot our intellectual intelligence, but we didn't develop our emotional intelligence, because developing the ethical values means developing our emotional intelligence and also our spiritual intelligence. Yeah, because it brings different meanings to us, the experiences. Then we carry on with Emmanuel. Jesus' birthday precedes the Christmas of time. With the Master, we receive the day of love and harmony. Over time, we find the day of universal brotherhood. The first renews joy. The second reforms responsibility. What is Emmanuel referring here to us? In the book Fonte de Paz. What is meaning when it says Jesus' birthday precedes the Christmas of time? Is he referring about the materialistic viewpoint? Or is he referring that Christ was born well before what we celebrate on earth? Is he referring to that? Yes or no? Cynthia's thinking, I don't know where you are. Did you went back to time, Cynthia?
Yeah, I think so.
So what came up?
Oh my God, it's in my mind how childish it is to celebrate his birthday, because like he's...
When we start, please carry on. Speak louder.
He's like the governor of the 21st. I was just thinking, him seeing us like putting up the trees, putting up the lights.
Precisely.
Isn't it?
As much as we study, it doesn't make sense at all. It really shows how still we are babies in the meaning of the essence of it. Anything else? Then, momentos de renovação. Joana de Angelis says, only love fills the immense emptiness of the soul. In this silent and lonely place of the heart, Love must emerge in its excellence, radiating itself as sublime light in all directions. Is that related with self-knowledge and Christmas? How would we reframe it according to our understanding? What is the spiritual benefactor, meaning when she says, only love fills the immense emptiness of the soul?
If it's only love that fills this emptiness, why are we always trying to fill it with something else?
Because that's
so hard to fill it.
Because that is what we learn throughout centuries and centuries. We always need to be very loving towards us and tolerant, because we are beings for centuries and centuries of training, and over again, when we study under Louise, we are a new body, but with the old system. We have been learned and we come back to a new body, but with the old systems, and we reinforce the values instead of changing and analyzing them. And here we are once more now with inner spiritism, which is very specific, bringing the deep, profound meaning of each occasion. And we, unless we change, we are either reinforcing it or we are upgrading ourselves. It depends of our choices. Because each choice is the use of review, isn't it? Either we follow what we always did or we choose to do things different. If we choose to do things differently, we are conditioning ourselves in the new way through the self-awareness which comes to us now. As you just said, in Portuguese, you would say, oh my God, caiu a ficha. What is that about what you are doing? There is a long way for us to evolve. But it's very good when that happens within us, because it really expanded the meaning. Yeah.
And that's why Christmas is not about shopping, because we've been centuries trying to fill that gap inside the shopping.
Precisely, from external reference, because it's a material level. And was the emptiness of any soul things? No, God would be unfair, because if I don't have money, I cannot buy. What fills the soul is the love that comes from God, and it's the love that us give to others, and not what others give to us. It's almost the opposite what we have been training ourselves, isn't it? Then we carry on here. No one, in the book Caminho, Verdade e Vida, Emmanuel says, no one acknowledges intellectual or sentimental achievements as a reason for disagreements with the brothers and sisters on earth. Has that to do with Christmas? Yes or no?
Yes.
In which way? Does it still happen on Christmas? A lot. Within the corporeal family, within the other family. So let's us be the ones who are choosing now to do and behave in a different way as we are learning here. Allow others to be as they are, but for us, we learn to discipline ourselves in this education process. Always bear in mind, loving one another. And then Mother Teresa of Calcutta teaches us, because she is the greatest sister of us. It is Christmas every time you let God love others through you. How is that? Have you learned that? Let God love others through you. How is that? How do we learn to allow God to love others through us?
Because we are learning that is the opposite that we had in our minds. It's not about receive, it's about to give. And we learned today that love others is more about doing, sharing, and doing something for others, not expecting something for ourselves. So if
I go to clothe someone, if I go to feed someone, if I forgive someone, if I'm tolerant, if I'm patient, I am allowing God to love someone through me. We are an instrument of God. Yes. And then still Mother Teresa says, we desire to be able to welcome Jesus at Christmas time, not in a cold manger of our heart, but it is a heart full of love and humility, in a heart so pure, so immaculate, so warm with love for one another. It's interesting that she refers to the manja, yes? We have that still, isn't it? But she's referring to the heart. This is why she is more evolved and comes back and teaches us. While we still are getting the manjas on the physical level, she is referring to the heart.
Maybe that's why sometimes it's so difficult for the kids to associate with Jesus as being like the governor of the planet, because we say Jesus was born on that day, but we need to say, no, he wasn't born on that day. He was incarnated on earth that day. He was born he was created by God a long time ago.
I think with the new children, we need to run behind the time that we rest and study more, that we can help to give support to them, because it doesn't make sense anymore to them. They come with a different psychic, and if we present this they doesn't accept. So we need to upgrade ourselves so that we can help them to bring the real meaning since the beginning. And also not to focus on a material level, but on the spiritual since the beginning. Take them on the hand, guide them to authority, where the pure are, help to serve, help to be amongst them. That is our duty to do it. Then we are following Christ. Yeah. And then to conclude today, Mother Teresa says, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Do we agree with that? So what is she teaching us here regarding self-knowledge and Christmas? But we can do small things with great love.
Everyone can do something.
Every human being, every children of God on earth is capable to do small things with great love, as long as we free ourselves from resentment, from hate, from anger, from expectations, from the materialistic references, and position ourselves towards the greatest power in the universe, which is love, which we bring within since our creation, as we have been created by God with love, in order to learn to love. And in that way, we are coming to the end today, and we are ending our study today. In these final moments, let's give thanks for this opportunity in our existences as immortal beings, children of God, blessed with these moments of enlightenment, with these moments of reflections, in this period of time on earth, that we are lacking love, that we are lacking fraternity. Master Jesus, we as humanity remember so much your name. Help us to understand in our hearts God's will, which is to love, which is to help, which is to cooperate, which is to develop our goodwill towards everyone and everywhere all the time. In light of minds, in light of hearts. And may the blessings of your light shine upon earth, above everyone, everywhere. May the blessings of your divine love soothe the hearts of those who may be feeling abandoned, or those who may be needing of your love. And may the blessings of your peace fall upon each one of us in need of your light of peace and love. And as brothers and sisters in humanity, as we all are incarnates and all of those in the spirit, may we choose to give our hands and move forward with Christ in direction to the greatest light, to the greatest love, today and ever. So be it. Much peace to all.